Welcome to WP-Tonic, Episode 10. This is Bill, and we're getting caught up right now with WP-Tonic, trying to look at ways to edit podcasts fast. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a quick edit, and we're getting these up. We have Episode 10 and 11. They are both podcasts that I did before we had our WordPress meetup here in Reno, Nevada. And 10 is on responsive design, and 11, which will be up tomorrow, will go into details on how to make your WordPress site fast. So without further ado, let's get right into episode 10 on responsive design. At the back, the show is on for the podcast. Jonathan, we're ready to go. If you want to start, welcome to WP-Tonic.
Hello there, Bill. Come on, brighten up, mate.
Okay,
it's been driving me crazy, folks, with all these podcasting.
We just did the test.
Stuff.
You didn't sound like that.
Folks, he's bonkers.
So Jonathan just went way too loud and blew out the system.
Did I?
I don't have. If I had a really good mixer and I had limiters, you could go as loud as you want. I'd like limit the top side.
Do you, Bill?
So go ahead. Now this is important sound.
Yes,
so anyway, welcome to WP-Tonic. We're here.
I hear that every show, Bill, that
Jonathan,
your freaking bloody sound is important.
And it's getting better. It's getting really good, too. Right. So, Jonathan, let's get right into the show. I know you want to talk about, I didn't even have my notes in front of me.
Responsive design, Bill.
Responsive design. And I know what responsive design is.
Yeah. So what we're going to do, folks, is I'm just going to quickly go through why responsive design is important, and then I'm going to go through a group of plugins that I utilise quite a lot on most clients' websites. Not everyone, but most of them. And I know that you folks that are listening out there love your plugins, and we all do in our way, but they also can cause us a few problems. But I've had a few requests to go through my plugin list, and that's what I plan to do, Bill. Plugin day, responsive and plugin day. That's what I'm going to do.
Very good. So for what it's worth, I think we're probably getting our best sound we've ever had today. It's not where I want it 100%, but it's getting there.
He's fanatical.
It's going to be a good show. And if
folks,
you want to listen to it, it's live right now on Google Hangouts.
I've had an hour of him before the show, folks, and it's driving me bonkers, but there we go.
We got to make sure that this is on the bottom of the page, too.
Yeah, sure. All right. Then. So responsive design, why does it matter, and what are some of the key principles of it? The reason why it matters is over the past year, the figures clearly show that the amount of people coming to your website utilising non-traditional devices. And what do I mean by non-traditional? Well, for me to say that, I have to clarify what is traditional and what is classified as additional. A desktop PC or a laptop. That is what is called traditional computing. What is untraditional? Well, mobile devices, your smartphone, your Android, your Windows phone, your iPhone, your tablet, your Android tablet, Samsung Galaxy, or your iPad, normal size or mini. That side of the viewing market is increasing rapidly, and what happened a year ago is that more people are coming to your website utilising non-traditional devices than traditional devices. So your site needs to be easily accessible to people utilising non-traditional devices like iPhone. How do you do that? Well, there's various methodologies. There's three main ways you can do that. You could have an app, and there's a lot of app developers at the Reno Collective, and that's where we do our great show, folks, at the Reno Collective. There's a few people here that make a very good living and do a very good job on making apps for the iPhone and for the Android platform. And in the right scenario, that is the right choice to make. But it's extremely expensive, folks, and it's normally out of the budget of the small to medium-sized business. And they would be better advised to utilise their marketing dollars on a better solution. And the two other main solutions are to have a totally separate website that's mobile friendly, or to have a website that's responsive. The mobile solution is becoming slightly less popular, but it still has its place. There's some websites that when people are on a mobile device, they will want to have certain information right in front of them that a more traditional desktop or laptop audience, it wouldn't be quite so crucial. So if you're in one of those kind of industries, or your website, you look at the data that's coming from your Google Analytics, and you can see that when people are on mobile devices, they go to a certain page of your website or a certain area of your website, and you're getting a high level of traffic when people are utilising mobile devices going to these specific pages. You might be better off looking at a mobile site. But the main tool that most people utilise is called responsive. And what is responsive? Responsive is, it's not a very complicated technology. It utilises something that came out about 3 years ago when a technology called CSS was upgraded. It has a kind of industrial organisation that controls this technology. And they brought out a new version. And in that new version, there was something called media queries. And what media queries does is it senses what device somebody's viewing a website on inside the browser, and then it says, well, if you've got this screen size, this screen resolution, and there's a media query that says, show this menu, show this picture, show this post in this way if you're utilising this size screen. And it senses the screen size, and it sees if there's a media query, and it sees in that media query if you're utilising a screen resolution that matches that query, it will then show what's ever inside that query. So what that does, it enables you to show different content to people at different screen sizes. Have I totally lost you, Bill?
I'm listening. No, I'm listening.
But have I lost you, Bill?
Nope, you haven't lost me, because I've actually studied most of this already.
Great. Well, he's getting techy.
I did learn something new about the mobile. I thought of the dynamic side as working across all platforms, that there wasn't just a mobile unique system. I guess there was in the past, years ago, but the mobile unique, or specifically designed for just mobile, is sort of going away. Even within mobile, there's so many different little platforms within the mobile. You've got the Galaxy, you have the iPhone. So you'd have to design to those different systems.
He's quite spot on there, folks. He's learning.
And I'm multitasking too. I'm disappointed that we're not a little bit better focused with our 930C. But
he loves his tech, folks.
I know our sound is good. Well, there's a lot of things to do when you're running a podcast like I'm doing. I'm doing the sound engineering, the editing, the auditing. Now you're doing the content development today, which is nice. I'm not really doing any content. I'm just soaking in what you're teaching.
Oh, it's a soaking in day, folks.
I'm soaking in. I'm really soaking in more, but I'm still made very good moves on the technology side.
He's amazing, really, Bill. He drives me potty, actually. He's bonkers, but he's a real doer, old Bill.
Well, if you look at, we're focusing in right on this system right here. It's focusing there. And I've got
for our podcast listeners, Bill, that would be quite difficult.
But you know what? That's why we want to drive them to WP-Tonic to look at this
Oh, we're going to be posting
and I would probably
video on our site, aren't we, Bill?
Yeah. And
well, I am.
At the bottom, I do. Yeah, you post at the bottom. And I'll probably re-content this on either Bluff TV just to put it up on Bluff. Bluff is sort of the fun place. Bluff directs you to WP-Tonic, Timeline of Success, Politics of Success, and anything else. Other products.
Podcasting empire.
Yeah, really, we are.
Yeah.
Podcast Reno. We're as Empire
we're it,
out of Reno.
We're it. We are it.
We are the top podcast in Reno, Nevada.
Because we're the only one, aren't we?
We are the top.
That's not hard, is it? Because we're the only one.
Our local TV stations are shivering right now.
Yeah, but they want to be because the shit they...
You know what? Stop. We can't take that out of this, but we'll take it out of the podcast.
Oh, God.
But... that said, I'm a big believer that this is the future of the technology.
Yeah, sure. So responsive design is basically based on media queries. The actual technology, isn't that difficult. Where it becomes a bit more difficult is that you've got to have an experienced designer developer plan with the client what's going to be shown and what isn't going to be shown at different screen resolutions, because you've got less real estate of screen. So it's important. So you buy a theme from whatever theme shop or theme resource that you normally go to, and it could be responsively designed, which is great. And of course, you will want to do changes. You might want to move things around. And you'll find your local developer that can do that for you. Well, that's great. But that also means that all the energy that went into testing that theme has to be redone, especially if you're going to adapt it quite a lot. And there has to be a decision on which devices you're going to test this adaptive site on. And it's really dependent on time, budget. It's the normal setup. And in my experience, when you're dealing with small to medium-sized clients, budget, time, resources are in short supply. So I think, I'm not saying that responsive design has made this worse, because these issues were there before responsive design. It's just made the situation a little bit more complicated. So I'm going to leave responsive design now, because we're going to go back to it, and I'm probably going to delve into it with a little bit more detail because it is important. But I'm now going to go on to a number of WordPress plugins that I utilise quite a lot, and just go through what they are, what they do, and when we put the show notes on, the links to these plugins and what they actually do is going to be part of the show notes. So don't worry, folks, it's going to be available. So are we ready, Bill?
Yeah, go ahead. We're drive on. We're just driving on to the next episode here.
Right,
and I think I understand. I think a lot of people understand responsive design and the complexities. One thing you didn't mention, and maybe for a later show, is what are the top themes for responsive design? The easiest to use for, if I was starting over, what would I want to pick for a theme to develop my website?
Well, I think that would be part of maybe the next show or one of the shows and I think your point is really great, where we could go into more detail about that.
Yeah, because and we will, and I'm looking at Dynamic. Dynamic does a pretty good job, which is a Genesis with dynamic overlay, but it doesn't do an amazing job on some of the phones.
Well, I think everything you said. And have you tested how it actually looks on a tablet, on a smartphone? Have you done a fair bit of testing?
I've done. Of course, I have the iPad. I've got the iPhone, so I've looked at those. And on the iPhone, the header is a little bit not accurate. But the other thing is I've also pulled some testing sites up where you can actually test them on different sites. And I think I found that site through one of our many WordPress meetup classes, which are very good. They're in Reno. That's one thing I think we do really well, is the WordPress meetup here in Reno, which the next one is on August 15th?
14th.
August 14th.
Thursday
at
the 14th.
Collective, yeah. At 6 o'clock, Reno Collective. So,
and I'm going to be talking about responsive design.
And we can put this out ahead of time, too, this piece ahead of the podcast. We'll try to make sure the podcast is out before that.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm going to go into some of the plugins that I utilise on a regular basis. One new one is a plugin called Subtitles. And it's a feature of WordPress that you have a main title. But if you want a subtitle on your page or on your post, WordPress doesn't really do that very easily. It doesn't give that functionality to you very obviously. There's ways around it. And there was a couple of other plugins that I utilised. But I never found a really good, satisfactory solution that I was happy to offer to clients until recently. And then this plugin by Philip Arthur Moore, who's well known in the WordPress development community. He's now based in Vietnam. There's a couple of podcasts that recently that he's been on, and he used to work for WordPress, and he's a well-known developer. So he brought out this free plugin called Subtitles, and it's excellent, and you need to look at it, and it will be very helpful to you. And like I say, we're going to put full notes on about all these plugins on our website. And the next one, frequently asked questions. Most sites have a frequently asked question area, and there's a number of plugins, but the one I've found the most effective is a plugin called Arconix Frequently Asked Questions by John Gardner, and it's a really nice plugin. It produces a custom post type, and I hope that you know what a custom post type is, but it produces a nice interface where you can put the frequently asked question and then a box where you can put the answer, and then it displays that utilising a little bit of code which you can put on a page or a post, and a short code basically, and it's got a nice bit of jQuery magic, so you just see the questions and you click a button and the answers will just appear. So it all works really very nicely, and it displays really nice as well, and I've utilised it on a number of sites and I'm very happy with it. And another one, a slightly bigger plugin, is Shortcode Ultimate by, I'm going to murder this man's name, but there we go, Vladimir Aknokin. I think he's Russian. And I do apologise to the gentleman. I'm sorry I've murdered your name. You find with a number of themes that, and it's in the past 18 months it's become very popular, that a lot of themes have short codes that are inbuilt into the theme. And I'm not totally against that, but there are problems if it goes too far. And on some themes, it definitely has gone too far. And why am I a little bit against a theme that has a load of short codes? Well, if you want to change theme and the short codes are being produced by the theme author and only available in that theme, if you change themes, you've got a bit of a problem because you're going to lose that data. One of the ways you can get around this is to utilise this plugin, and this plugin author does offer a Premier version, but unlike most, he provides a ton of usability in the free version as well. A lot of the functionality that you would look for is included in the free version, and even more functionality is included in the pro version. And it's a really very useful tool. It provides a lot of very useful functionality that's easily available, like making buttons, various things. So I utilize it a lot, and my clients like it a lot. So that's a great one. Another one, a very small one, but a very useful one, is a plugin called Delete All Comments. And it's a very small plugin, but it does one really useful job. I get a lot of clients that have started a website themselves. They have started a business online, or they've got an existing physical business, and they did their website initially themselves, and then they realise it's a little bit more complicated than they thought, or they're just getting busy, so they call in somebody like me to manage their website. And it's really easy, if you don't set up WordPress from the beginning, to get a lot of spammy comments on your website. And you'll find that even if you're not displaying these comments, that you still get people that will have that. They're not actually people, it's robot code that's looking for a WordPress website that's not been secured, and they still will post comments even if they're not displayed on your website. And these comments will have links going to various products, because Google in the US and in Europe have really made this technique not that beneficial. But in third world countries, like especially in China, having a lot of spammy external links going to a website, you still get a lot of SEO benefit. So you find that you get to a lot of websites that have a ton of really spammy comments in them, and the WordPress out the box, you got to delete all these comments one by one, and it can be a real nightmare.
When you say delete them one by one, can't you just go select all, what's that, about 10 or 20 at a time, and just go down through?
Yeah, but I've had websites that's had 20,000.
Yeah, I did that to when I took over my nonprofit and just got rid of their old website and built a new one. My old website, I took a lot of those comments down. They had a lot. And most of them were from Russia.
Yeah, Russia, China.
Russia. And you can tell which ones are the spam and computer generator robots.
Yeah. But I've had websites that had thousands.
Yeah, that would take a long time at 20 black.
Well, you install this plugin, Delete All Comments, and there are other ones that give you a little bit more selectability. Like this one blasts everything out, but there's a couple others that I could talk about in later episodes that give you a little bit more functionality. But this one, it's got one choice. You select all the comments, you select a tick box which it puts in, and it gets rid of them all. End of story. Bang. Everything's gone.
Right. Now you have no comments at all, though. How about if I want a few selected comments?
No, it doesn't remove the comment functionality. People then could put new ones, but I'm talking about a site that hasn't been set up for comments, but it has a load of junky comments in the back in the administrative section. Well, I've just found this. It does one thing, and it does one thing really well. It gets rid of a load of crap comments that shouldn't be there. All right? On to a slightly bigger one, a bit like Shortcode Ultimate, is TablePress. And TablePress is produced by a company which I can't pronounce their name, Tobias BG or something. But they also offer a pro version, and it's very similar to Shortcode Ultimate, that the free version still does a ton of stuff. And obviously we're in the era of CSS and HTML5, but tables are still useful for displaying data that needs to be in tables. Unfortunately, the normal table functionality that comes with WordPress in your visual editor isn't that fantastic. It doesn't really, it's not that flexible, and the code it produces isn't that great. And one of the areas where it really falls down is if your site is responsive, because you'll find that if you utilize the normal table editor in WordPress, your tables aren't going to be responsive. But by utilizing this free plugin, it produces code that is responsive if you're displaying a lot of data in tables. Obviously, a web professional would know how to set up that table and make it responsive, but this is aimed at a person that's maintaining the site owner, or people who haven't got a lot of development experience, and they still need to display a lot of data in tables. And I found my clients really like it, and it's really useful.
Right. A small business might use that internally if they're spread out to pass that data information to their people. That's why most places.
Or clients.
Or clients. I guess clients who need a lot of data, a lot of information.
Yeah, and putting that into price
engineers,
price lists. Obviously you would have those price lists downloadable as PDFs, right. But to get good SEO and have it more available to people, you would want some of that data to be displayed on the web page. Well, a nice formatted table is the perfect way to display that data, right?
Very good.
The next one, calendars. Well, there are a number of calendar systems. The inbuilt calendar that comes with WordPress is not very good. But there's some excellent free versions and pro versions. A lot of them, they seem to come into two camps. There seems to be the very basic calendar plugin systems that just don't quite do what you're looking for. They're too basic, basically. And then you have there's Calendar Pro from Modern Tribe, which is one I utilise. They're great people, and it's a great calendar. They have a basic calendar that's really, really good. And then they have a pro version as well. And I have got the developer's license, and I do utilise it, but it's a big plugin. It provides a lot of functionality, and normally clients need a bit of training to utilise it if they're going to utilise all the functionality that comes with it. So I've always on the lookout for a really nice free calendar that gives a lot of functionality but isn't quite as big a beast. And I was recommended this one called Ajax Event Calendar, and I think it's a really nice blend of not being too simple but not being too complicated as well. And it was developed by a guy called Aaron Miller, and it really seems a nice mixture. So I've utilised it on a couple websites, and I've been quite happy with it, and so have my clients. So go and look at that, folks. The next one solves a really specific problem, but a very annoying problem. If you use SEO by Yoast, which is is a great SEO plugin, one of the things it does, though, and there's other plugins that do this as well, is that when you go into your pages and your posts, it adds a load of additional fields, and you find that your admin area is all kind of jumbled up. It's all gone a bit low, which, like, if you go into a Pacific Post, you have a column for the post data, you have the column for the title. Well, Yoast and some others add another load of fields, and you find there's not enough room and everything gets jumbled up, right? And there's no, each post you can go in and switch some of these fields off. But let's say you've installed Yoast's great plugin, but you've got 100 posts. That means you would have to go into each separate post and set up the look. That could be a real pain in the posterior.
With Yoast, huh?
Yeah. To get around this, there's a lovely little free. They do a pro version, and it's called CodePress Admin Columns, and it provides a global setting where you can go in and say it sees which other plugins you've installed that affect how data is displayed in the admin area. It also deals with custom post types really well. And it says, you can tick a few boxes off and you can switch off which of these columns that you don't want to see. And then you save it and you find all your pages, all your posts are dealt with in one go. It really deals with this problem, which is very, very annoying. And in a way, I think WordPress should have a global setting that comes with it anyway.
Now, Jonathan, I'm going to interrupt you here because dynamic, Genesis with dynamic, that's the whole concept. It's got the global settings. But again, I'm not too sure how it interacts with the different plugins. That's the hard thing, is getting the right plugins. And getting the right combinations and the right look. And then not playing with it too much and getting it so it works, functionality of the system, of your primary system. Very good. Hey, how many more do we have here, Jonathan?
I've got two more.
29 minutes. We're going over a little.
Yeah, two more.
So we need to wrap it up?
No, maybe we can finish off with these two more. There's two that are very related, but they come from two authors, funny enough. There's Simple Custom Post Order and Simple Page Order. Simple Custom Post Order comes from Samir Hamagan, and Simple Page Order comes from Jake Goldman, who's the well-known owner of 10up, which is a large WordPress development shop. But both do a similar job. Simple Custom Post Order and Simple Page Order is if you've got a load of posts or you've got a load of pages and you want to, on your admin area, you want to put certain posts at the top, or you want to put certain pages at the top of your order, there's no real easy way of doing that in WordPress. This provides some jQuery, and you can just drag a post up to the top of your admin area, or drag a page, and it's set. So you can put everything in order. That's that easy. And it really, if you've got a lot of posts and a lot of pages, but there's certain posts or certain pages that you go to very regularly, you want them on the first page, let's say, and this sorts it out. And my final one is social media icons. And there's a number of plugins that provide you with a nice interface where you can place these plugins on different widget areas, or on your pages, or on your posts. But the one I found that gives the best look, the best versatility of being able to place these social icons is a plugin called Social Media Widgets. And it's by a company called Blink Web Effects that produce it. And I've utilised this plugin on a load of websites. There are other really popular ones, but for its versatility and it being it's free, I found this to be the best kind of social media plugin that gives you all these icons and an interface to link to your own social media websites. And there you are, folks. Hopefully you've found that all these plugins useful, because I found them really useful in helping clients maintain and build their websites.
Well, that's good, Jonathan. It was very informative. When I do post-production, I will even learn more about all these sites. You did a really nice job also of creating all those links. And your free product. Remind people to go to WP-Tonic to sign up for the
I've got a new I'm offering a PDF to folks. When you come to the homepage, a pop-up will pop up, but I'm offering a great PDF where I list the 20 most powerful, most useful plugins that I've utilised on clients' websites, and it's in different sections. There's a section for membership plugins. There's a section for form plugins, and all those that are listed I have utilised myself, and I think they're quality products from quality developers or development teams, and it's a useful PDF. And all you have to do is join our mailing list to get it. And we're going to send out a monthly newsletter where I'm going to write a long article about a certain subject about WordPress, and I'll send this article to you. So it's great value.
Yeah, I think that is very good. That monthly newsletter, I'm looking forward to it. I know I learn a lot from breaking down and looking at these podcasts that we put together and the specific issues. One thing that I'm working on is in Timeline of Success, timelineofsuccess.com or Bluff TV, where Bluff is where you find everything. I'll probably build a collection site. I'm going to offer something a little simpler. It's sort of just where I am and what the plugins on my WordPress site are. And mine's a little different. It's dynamic, which you're not the Genesis.
You seem a bit down today, Bill.
I'm
What's the matter? You're not normal cheerful, is it me?
I'm not down. I'm just really focused. I've been working really hard. I've been producing on show 34, and we've had 34 days of good shows. The sound on this is going to be pretty good. Just so you guys know, I could let Jonathan yell and scream more, like he does. Me? He gets excited, which excitement is good. I don't
scream and shout at you, Bill.
But I'd have to get a better mixer, which has a noise gate, basically that when you hit the top, it will cut it off and still not distort the sound. And that's a much more expensive system, probably talking about $400 to $600 to get the really good system. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing behind the scenes, the constant improvement with the quality of the podcast. And I hate to use the word podcast because it's really going out to different elements. It's going out to iTunes, which is the podcast. It's going out to Stitcher Radio, which goes out everywhere in a different environment. And then finally, iHeartRadio, which even has the ability to go on radio itself. Yes.
It's not a great title, but it's the title but it never was fantastic, was it?
In closing, just so we know, is it occurred, the RSS feed, Apple tamed the RSS feed first in any kind of commercial application in 2004. And that's where your podcast terminology started. And it's really anything that's, and a lot of radio shows are turned into podcasts. So that's another issue, another topic, and that's what I look at. I'm not down. I'm just working a lot of hours. I'm doing a lot of work. Things are actually starting to come together with the show. We're constantly building up more listeners.
I've got a lot of past content, and I'm going to post a lot of stuff onto the website, so it's going to have a lot of and we hope to post some videos because we're recording a lot live recording a lot of our stuff now, and I'm watching it right now, folks, on our camera setup, and a lot of it, and we're going to be doing some interviews. I've got some exciting Matt from the Matt Report has agreed to come on the show, hopefully next week. And I've got Spencer, the evil genius. He's well known in the WordPress community. He's agreed to come on the show. And I'm going to do some outreach. So each month we hope to have one or two people in the well known in the WordPress community come on the show and give their insight where they think WordPress is going to go, and some of their industrial experience.
Right.
I think we're probably going to talk more about plugins more regularly and have more guests on the show. So there'll be less of listening to me.
It's happening, and I'm going to actually, Jonathan, I'm going to change the mix-up. We've got probably 3 or 4 shows in the sack, which are good shows. Hey, stay tuned. If you want to go and push the Google Plus and watch it on the website, you'll see it. I'm going to talk a couple minutes about the lighting and some of the effects that we're doing in this little studio. So out here.